Welcome back, guys. So one of the videos I did in the past, how to build a Mustang GT, you guys liked it. You liked some of the insights I shared on that platform. So I'm going to tell you now for this video, what to get and what you actually need to make the Mustang GT perfection. And this is all you need. You don't need to go crazy overboard with all these mods. I've done a lot of these mods myself and I can tell you what works and what doesn't. So step one, enjoy the car out the box for a little bit and get a feel for it. Ford really did a good job engineering this platform. It doesn't need too much work to really take it up a notch, especially with the S650. So the first thing that I would highly recommend is a set of lowering springs. These will set off the car no matter what car you have. It will give it a better stance. You can go with drag springs or just handling springs or even just minimal drop springs. And it really depends on what you're going to be using the car for. Secondly, the stock wheels and tires, the tires are garbage. Pirellis are hot garbage. But the rims are actually quite nice, especially on the S650. So what I recommend is if you want to save as much money as possible, maybe hold out on wheels right now and change the tires. I definitely think that's a must. That's the first thing a Mustang owner should do. Hence why you see all these crazy videos of them crashing into crowds. Chances are the tires are garbage or they're stock tires. Pirelli P0s are not the move. If you have a Dark Horse handling pack, the Trofeo RSs are obviously a fantastic tire. But what I would recommend, if you're going to be daily driving the car every single day and you're going to be going in the city, you're going to be going in the country, it could rain, you don't want to go with something as crazy as a drag radial. What I would recommend is you can go with Continental Extreme Contact, or you can go Firehawk 500. That is a radial, but that is a fantastic, affordable radial. Then you can obviously go to the tried and tested tire that absolutely has very little flaws, is the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. Those, I would recommend a staggered setup. You could probably run at least a 285, 295 in the rear with a stock rim. And then in the front, you can run a 255 or 265. That's going to completely transform the vehicle dynamically. You're going to be able to turn in better on the street. You're going to be able to just have maneuverability that you didn't have on the stock tires. So I got you on lowering springs and I got you on tires. Now, if you want to increase the handling characteristics and make the rear end a bit more solid, I definitely recommend going with the Steeda Stop the Hop kit or the BMR Cradle Lockout Level 2. Both pieces will get you straight and, pun intended, it literally will help you go straight. And it will eliminate most of that annoying, pesky wheel hop without adding too much NVH. So that's what I would recommend from a suspension standpoint. You can obviously go coilovers, you can do shocks and all that good stuff, but this is all the things that you need for the Mustang GT to really set it off from stock, like OEM Plus, and it's really all you need. All those other suspension parts, obviously they're for different purposes and they're more of extreme style of builds. I'm just telling you what you need. Now, for engine modifications, cold air intake, absolutely not. You do not need a cold air intake. On Gen 3 and Gen 4 Coyotes, the stock air boxes flow just fine. The cold air intakes are more of a aesthetic thing in the engine bay, and there's no denying it. They look fantastic. So if you want to up the appearance of your engine bay, go ahead, by all means. If you want to change the filters, you could do that as well. But again, these are minimal gains. These cold air intakes, Ford really dialed it in. They flow beautifully from the factory, and the dyno can prove this. There's maybe 2 or 3 wheel horsepower to gain with changing out intakes or filters for that matter. So I'd say save your money on that. Let's talk exhaust system. So obviously you have a Mustang. You don't care if it's loud. You want it to be noisy, but you want it to be done tastefully. So there's 2 options. You can go with the X-pipe or the H-pipe. On the S550, the X-pipe did in fact make more power on the dyno over the H-pipe, but what we're finding in the S650 is that the H-pipe makes more power. Also, the best way to distinguish between the two, the X-pipe has more of an exotic sound and it screams a lot more in the high RPM. The downside is rasp. Whereas the H-pipe, it has that deep old school rumble that the X-pipe wouldn't have. It retains that deep note, but you're not gonna have that high RPM screech that the X-pipe gives that a lot of people find desirable. So to each their own. I personally have had both. On my S550 I had an X-pipe and on my S650 I have an H-pipe. I definitely prefer the H-pipe. It sounds more old school, more Mustang to me, but I can definitely see the appeal in an X-pipe. So what I recommend is if you don't have the stock axle back that's active, go ahead and get a full system. Any system's gonna make it sound amazing, really. You could go with a Borla Attack, you can go with the Corsa Extreme, the Corsa Sports, the Borla S-type. My personal favorite right now, I do really like what AWE is doing. They make a fantastic exhaust. For me personally, I started out with the Roush H-pipe, and a lot of that will fit the build for most people. If you have a stock active axle back and you just slap an H-pipe or X-pipe on there, that's gonna really increase the volume, and that's probably all you really need to do. You don't need to go far and beyond and go with a full axle back to pair with that H or X-pipe. So that's my 2 cents on the exhaust front. And that even goes for the non-active guys. Just try an X-pipe or H-pipe first, do it in steps, and there's no rush. See how your sound is, really hone in that volume. Then secondly, what you can do is headers. So if you ever plan on boosting the car, which most people probably won't be doing, I would recommend going catless just for that ease of mind, because superchargers like to melt cats, and I don't want any of you guys to have an engine failure because you went with even more expensive headers and catalytic converters melted in the block. Then what I would honestly do is go with a pair of catless headers, and I know it's gonna be quite loud. You can get some vibrant resonators, and that will be loud but manageable. Now, again, do I recommend going boost? That's to your goals, but for the sakes of this video, I'm telling you everything you need just to build a Mustang GT quick, easy, and call it a day. So we have lowering springs of your choosing. You can go with Eibach, you can go with Steeda, there's many brands. Then you can go with the Stop the Hop or the Cradle Lockout from BMR. Then you're gonna go with the exhaust system of your choosing, keep those stock intakes. Then you can get a tune on 93. It'll definitely pick up power on the 93 tune, but make no mistake, going E85 will really net you that NA monster that you're trying to build. Once that's done, almost everything else is completely subjective. You can change your wheels. Is it necessary? No, the lowering springs and the new tires will add a really nice stance. If you have a manual car, the new Gen 4 Coyote with the MT82, it does feel a lot better than the S550 did, but I'm a firm believer in MGW. I think MGW makes a fantastic product. If you have a manual car and you don't have an MGW, I think you're missing out on a lot of fronts. So if you have a manual, definitely get a short shifter. It just makes that driving experience so much better. Then everything else is aesthetic that you can add. That is completely up to you guys, but I just told you everything you need to properly build the Mustang for a nice street setup. This is a non-extreme setup, won't break the bank. For the springs, couple $100, and the exhaust, that's more of the bigger expense. Headers, obviously bigger expense. Then the tuning, which again, isn't that crazy in price. And you probably will pick up an RTD4 or an RTD3, depending on if you have S550 or S650. And the tires and the short shifter, like these are mods that you can do over the space of time. And this is really all you need, because who are we kidding? We're not some crazy people on TikTok who think 450, 500 horsepower isn't enough. If you're subscribed to my channel, you guys are probably car people, so you know that is plenty of power to have fun. And these are all the mods you need to really make the Mustang that much better in an OEM plus kind of way. So if you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out. I'm going to keep cranking out videos for you guys, and we got lots of content coming up in the future. Take care and have a good night.